Today we're going to talk about Book 2, Chapter 4, called Congratulatory. What we'd like you to do is to focus on the ways in which our identities are sometimes public and sometimes private. So what you're looking at is what I imagine we might picture in our mind's eye as Charles Darnay and Sydney Carton. So the reason I use the same actor with these two very different looks is to capture the way that Sydney Carton and Charles Darnay have a lot in common, but interpret themselves very differently. So on the inside, they see their world very, very differently. All right, so we're going to focus on that concept of identity, how we see ourselves, how the world sees us, and how sometimes those two stories don't always get told together. So again, as you've normally done, you're going to listen to the chapter, you're going to complete the sticky notes, you're going to answer your what do you think question, and you're going to annotate the passages that we have called out. So you can annotate them either in the call out box before you start reading or in the boxes embedded within the text. Then you're going to do checkpoints 1 and 2. Those two checkpoints are going to ask you to once again focus on this concept of identity and the ways in which what the world sees and what we see may not always be the same. So sometimes the story that gets told about you or that you tell of yourself isn't the whole story, that there's a lot more to it. So the checkpoints 1 and 2 are going to offer you a chance to untangle Sydney Carton and the identity that he shows the world versus how he sees himself, and Charles Darnay, how Darnay sees Sydney Carton versus how Sydney Carton sees Charles Darnay. Okay, so let's take a real quick look at what that entails. So first of all, here are your stickies. We're going to introduce this motif called the reflection or the mirror image. And so we want you to think about how mirrors might be used as a symbol, and also how different characters might mirror one another. In checkpoint 1, you're going to focus on this mirror imagery by looking at these characters of Darnay and Sydney Carton. And then in checkpoint 2, you're going to create, and here's my little example, you're going to create a man in the mirror graphic. In the mirror, I want you to write down the direct quote from the text, maybe 1 or 2 quotes that you think encapsulate the concept that we're discussing. This idea of how characters, specifically Carton, are directly or indirectly characterized in the text. Then, with the man in the mirror should be your own language describing what Carton's identity is like as other people see him. And then the standing man, the man sort of in real life, is your own language that describes an identity that Carton has that he doesn't necessarily show to other people. Once you've created your man in the mirror, you're going to snip that, just only your own image. So you'll take your own image, snip it, put it into your sway.